RezStyle. I'm your host, Kimberlie Acosta, and we're here today with musician Wade Fernandez, who hails from the great Menominee Nation. You want to share with us your music style and how you got into it and who you've all performed with?
Let's see, my musical style, I guess, would be a combination of all the Rez bands and basically in the state, mixed with my parents' record collection of like the Stones and the Beatles and Johnny Cash, and then my uncle who brought funk and jazz and blues to my ears when I was a little kid, and just jamming with musicians all the time. And then the sounds on the Rez, the powwows, native flute, and then growing up like by all the trees and all the animals and next to the river, and just all those things combined, I guess, would be my style if I have one.
And you combine playing your guitar and doing the traditional native flute. Well, how did you get inspired to do that?
I guess I just love doing anything I can with music, and anytime I hear something, I try it, and I'm not afraid to try stuff, even if I fall on my face. And in fact, the first flute I got, the first flute that I performed with was here at Indian Summer Festival in 2001, I think. And Louis Webster, the flute maker from here in the Wisconsin, he had like a stand and several of his flutes, and I just picked one up, and it was like right away some music came out. So I ran home quick because I lived in Milwaukee at the time, and grabbed a guitar that I wasn't using that much, and I came back and said, "Want to trade?" And so we traded, and later that day I did another concert here, and I had the flute up with me on stage, and so it's like something comes to me, or I think about it, and I just do it, and I don't know, I guess I don't, maybe I should have more fear, but that's how it kind of came together. I just brought it up on stage and with a band and went from there.
And who were some of the native artists that you started out just doing guitar with?
Let's see, Mitch Walking Elk was one of the first native artists I performed with. Well, besides on the Rez, playing with Richie Plass and Wabano and all kinds of people, Daryl Booty on the Menominee Rez, also up north, different native musicians up there. We just played a lot of more like country and old rock. And then Mitch Walking Elk came along and asked if I'd go on a tour with him in Europe, and so I did that, and we had a lot of fun together. Kind of introduced me to Europe. Jammed with Bill Miller several times, and his younger brother Clint. Him and I kind of grew up together, sort of, and just jammed a lot. So those were some of the. Oh, and then Keith Secola. That was a little bit later on. He started adding me to his wild band of Indians. But I think by then I was already doing my own stuff. But those are some of the native musicians. And then Honor of the Earth tour, Annie Humphrey. I think I met her before the Honor of the Earth tour. And then when Jackson Browne and the Indigo Girls came to our Rez, I was invited to jump in on that. And Annie was there, and she kind of helped me because it was my very first solo gig, playing my own stuff. And I was like really scared. And mostly because it was my old high school, and I hadn't seen a lot of the people from the high school for a few years after I graduated. And I came back, and it's all these old feelings of being a little kid and being scared came back, and I was just about to get up on the stage, and Annie Humphrey saw me getting scared, so she went, "You!" like that, and I busted out laughing, and I went up on the stage, and it kind of broke the ice, and I went up there and I pretended I was opening up an envelope. And I said, "And the Menominees are," like I was at a award show or something, and then I just played, and it was easy then. And Jackson Browne asked me to jam with him on that evening, and the Indigo Girls too. So it was a really a lot of fun that night. So those are some of the musicians I played with.
Don't you have a song called Commodity Cheese?
Yeah, Commodity Cheese Blues. That came from working in a kamat shop on the reservation. When I graduated high school, I needed a job, and back then we had Indian Relief. It was called RNIP, Relief for Needy Indian Persons, and I was placed in the kamat shop. That was my placement, and we made $208 a month, and we handed out kamats. And when I was sitting there, I started like playing harmonica, like blues harmonica, because sometimes you weren't passing commodities out. And so then I came up with this song later on, thinking about those days, and I didn't think I was going to do anything with it because I don't know, it was just for fun. I did the song just for fun, and then after that I had a grant to do a performance on the reservation, well, anywhere, and I chose my reservation. So I set up a big production with a big sound company, and we had a really nice show on the reservation. And then after that there was some money left over from the grant, so I told my friend Jonesy Miller and Chris Paulus, hey, can you guys get your video cameras? In fact, I think that's one of them. I said, not Jonesy, but that's one of the cameras. But I said, hey, can we use those cameras and make a video? I kind of made a quick script for Commodity Cheese, and we filmed it in the kamat shop around the res, and it did really good, actually. It went all over native country, and it won a couple national awards, and it wasn't supposed to do anything except just kind of show the res without the stereotypes. You know, no, you know, sitting up on a cliff playing flute, and you know, instead it was just the way the res is, you know, and I think that's probably why it did so well, because a lot of people on the res are like, you know, like, well, what about us, you know, because real life isn't the stereotype.
And you're on the school board now, and you're doing a lot of different stuff for the youth in the Menominee tribe. You want to share about, tell us about that?
Sure. Well, when you grow up on the res, you have such a wonderful community. You have so many people. You know, we have our problems, and we have the things we have to work through, but the family thing is there, and it's not just, you know, within your relatives, but all of the people, the cousins and the friends, just everybody. It's like one big family. We don't always get along, but whenever there's troubled times or something, everybody pulls together. And to not work with your community is kind of like being half of a person, and when you grow up in that kind of a thing. And my wife and I and my kids moved back from Milwaukee about maybe 3 years ago. There's so many things happening at the school that with the kids that you can do. You can go out and you can harvest wild rice. You can do all these really cool things, you know, that you can't do anywhere else in the world. So it's kind of like your family just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and the more you give, the more the better you feel inside, and it's much bigger than like getting some kind of award for music or for this or that. It's just like something that stays with you, you know. And every time you see one of those one of your students or one of the kids, you just you know, you just like seeing your own children. It just makes you feel so good, especially when they do something and to make you proud, like they turn down drinking, or they did something and got themselves a job, or they're going to go to college now, or they're going to do something with their life, or they won princess for the powwow or something. You know, it's just so cool. And then I just started being on the school board, the Menominee Indian School District School Board. I didn't ever think I would do something like that. You know, being a musician and stuff, you think, oh, you know, you're just gonna perform and all that. But a friend of mine said, hey, you know, you should really think about running for school board. It would be great to have you on there. And I thought, well, I'm not a campaign kind of person. I don't like it, and I don't feel good saying, oh, vote for me or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, if I'm going to be on there, it's going to happen, and if I'm not, I'm going to keep doing what I do, because I got voted in, and now I'm doing it, and it's a lot of hard work, but it's good because you can work with helping to make change with the youth and the schools, because the education, the school system is the center. You know, that's where everybody's children go there, and that's where they kind of have a chance to get away. Like maybe if life isn't quite so good at home, they can come there, and if the school's not going to be a refuge or a good environment for learning or for growing, or learning about your culture and learning the other way, the Mokuman way, then what's the use in having a school? So it's a good place to be and try to help things move along, and we have a lot of potential. We're bringing more of our culture into the school, into our curriculum, and I'm proud to be a part of that, as well as to have 5 kids and be a musician and work for my other job, my gear up job. It's a lot, but it's all worth it.
All very fulfilling, I can imagine. And you have a website as well where people can get your music?
Yeah, I have a website, WadeFernandez.com. So I got a Facebook now too. That's working. I'm a modern Indian finally.
Is there any message you want to leave our audience with, or the youth, before we go?
Well, for the youth, I guess everything is available for you. If you have any kind of dream, any kind of thing that you're really passionate about, if you work hard at it, and if you don't step on anybody on the way up, like share your knowledge. You learn something about it and you share it, and then it's going to keep coming back to you, and before you know it, you'll be there. Whatever you really want to do, if you're giving back as you're learning and as you're taking, you're giving it back, there'll be nothing that can stop you, but you got to stay focused, because if you go off that path and start drinking and drugs, and you'll never see that dream that you have. You'll never get there, and if you do, it's not going to be fulfilling. You're going to fall on your face. You're going to be like I won't mention names, but you'll be like what my brother said when he went to the MTV Awards and he was at the after party. There was so many people that were famous, but some of them were passed out on drugs and ODing in the bathroom. Some were falling off the table, and he said it was just really messed up. So these people sometimes are like being so-called role models, but they're actually hurting a lot of people. And don't be that. Help your family, help your nation, help your tribe by working hard to get that dream, to make it happen, and sharing it with everybody in your community. And then there'll be nothing that'll stand in your way, your family's way, or our people's way. And it's the same for any age. We all need to keep working at that and building our communities up.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you joining us today. And that is RezStyle on Indian Country TV. Thank you.
Went downtown to get my commodities. I went downtown and get my commodities. I went downtown to the commodity shop. Met the blues 'cause they were out of stock. Tell me please when I'll get my commodities.